Hi, I'm Dr. Nichelle Haynes.
I'm Dr. Kristen Lassiter.
And we're Medical Mamas. This is your place to get evidence-based information about your reproductive mental health.
Meaning mental health care in relation to reproductive hormone changes like around your period, pregnancy, postpartum, menopause, infertility, all those fun times.
All right, today, take a deep breath before we talk about it. We're going to talk about tantrums.
They're hard.
Yeah. So, all kids have tantrums.
Yes, the positive thing about tantrums is that if your child is throwing a tantrum, it's developmentally normal, and so you can at least give yourself that.
All right. Okay, so what's the first thing that we need to do?
So the first thing you need to do for any tantrum is establish safety, making sure they're not throwing this tantrum laying down in the middle of a busy street or somewhere where they could fall off or somewhere where people's safety is at risk.
I've been there. Tantrum in the middle of the street.
Yeah.
Like, no, we're not crossing the street right now. It's like, oh, well, we can't do this here. We can go over here and do it. And if it means picking up your kid to establish the safety, that's totally fine. It's okay. You want to try to resolve the tantrum at the same place they're having the tantrum unless safety is an issue. So it's okay to move them if you need to establish safety first. So that's the very first step always.
Yeah, so if they're in the kitchen laying on the floor throwing a tantrum, it's okay to just leave them there and kind of let them have control over how they're throwing their tantrum.
So that's number one. And number two actually doesn't really have anything to do with the kids anyway. So regulate for yourself, because you don't want to come into a tantrum with your own internal chaos, internal sort of tantrum-y vibe as well, right?
Yeah, our kids definitely feed off of our mood and energy, and so making sure that you're taking a moment to kind of check in with yourself. How is this making you feel? Most likely it's making you feel pissed off or really annoyed or frazzled. So just kind of taking a moment to notice what you're feeling in yourself and kind of breathing through that and being present with it before you even go manage what your child's going through.
And if you did number one, establishing safety, you know that it's okay for them to have the tantrum there. So it's okay to take the second or two or minute or however long it needs to be for you to kind of regulate, to be able to come into that tantrum without contributing to more of, the big emotions that they're experiencing, that's going to be good.
The next important thing to do with a kid who's throwing a tantrum is to label the emotion that they're having. This can be really hard for adults even, because a lot of times when we were kids, we weren't taught what our emotions are. We were just taught, it's okay, like quit crying. But that's actually the wrong thing to do. So the right thing to do is to realize what the emotion is that your child's feeling. Oh, you're feeling really angry right now that Tommy took your truck.
Right, so maybe some other options: disappointed, frustrated, angry, sad,
jealous.
It could be a whole range of things, but those are often the ones at my house at least. So just name what they are experiencing so that in the future when they experience it, they can use that same naming system. I'm feeling angry, which may prevent a future tantrum.
Yeah, if they can communicate what they're feeling, it's often easier for them than kind of throwing the tantrum.
So the next thing would be needing to validate what they're experiencing. You might say something like, oh, it's okay that you're experiencing that. I feel that way sometimes too, just to kind of let them know that, like, this is okay.
Yeah, so Tommy took your truck, you're feeling really angry. That's totally okay to feel angry about that. I would be feeling angry about that too. The important thing to do is not tell them that they shouldn't be feeling that way, or kind of saying, that really wasn't that big of a deal, like it's a truck, get over it. That's not what you want to do.
If you struggle with this, one way to start with kind of validating someone who's really small's emotions is to just state facts. Tommy took your truck. That made you feel angry, right? That in and of itself is a little bit validating, because you recognized why they were feeling angry. So if you can't get to the point where you feel comfortable saying, like, that's okay, let's at least not say, don't feel that way. Let's just say, Tommy took your truck and now you're feeling angry. And that's a good way to start.
And then definitely normalizing that everybody feels whatever emotion that child's feeling in the moment. So everybody feels disappointed sometimes. Everybody feels jealous sometimes. It's okay to have emotions.
So after you do that, what would the next step be? Helping them meet their needs.
Yeah. So that might look like mindfulness in kid form, right? So maybe that is picking out all the blue things in the room, or noticing what your breathing's like, or
you could even say, like, what are you feeling in your body right now? Or offer some form of connection or grounding to ask them what they need. Sometimes it's less about wanting the truck back and more about wanting to be seen as they're upset for whatever.
So maybe it's asking them, do you need a hug right now? Or do you need space right now? Do you need to go over to, maybe you have like a cozy corner or something in your house where they feel safe and they can kind of go to calm down.
So maybe just creating some space for their needs and adjusting based on what they say or what they need. And sometimes that takes a really long time.
Yeah, so this part of the process can be exhausting because a lot of times kids don't know what they need, and so it might be kind of trying on different things, or even just sitting and letting them kind of throw their tantrum and be angry or cry, and just sitting with that and letting them, do it for as long as they need to do it.
Because getting it out is going to be the way to move through it, right? If they're angry on the inside and you make them stop expressing that on the outside, it's not going to make the anger go away at all. It's just they're going to hold it in and it's going to come out in some other way.
Yeah. So sometimes you can have fun with this too. And, oh, you're really angry? Like, do you want to like punch this pillow? Or maybe we need to scream together, or kind of doing something to help them get that energy out in a way that might be a little bit more socially appropriate than laying on the ground crying.
Hopefully a lot of that helps kind of diffuse the situation, and like we said, the hardest part is being able to sit with the length and the duration of it. So you may have to kind of go through the cycle again to check in with yourself, regulate, breathe, do the mindfulness, validate them again, ask what they need. You may have to kind of go through the process a few times. But once we're diffused and we're calm and there's been a little bit of space, that would be a good time to do some recap. If there needs to be some kind of repair, some kind of resolution, that they understand what happened and how they got there and how they felt better. Creating that pattern and repair can help them. Maybe someday in the future, you tell me when that's going to happen. I don't know. Maybe someday in the future be able to kind of do some of that process within themselves and diffuse some future tantrums.
Yeah, and it might be then it's a day where they're having a lot of tantrums, and so you're more short fused too. And it's okay to say, I'm feeling really frustrated. I'm gonna go take a break for 5 minutes. I will be back. It's okay to walk away and to give yourself some space, and that's modeling for your child boundaries. And as long as you let them know, hey, I'm coming back. I'm not abandoning you. I need some, time to breathe also. Tantrums, like we talked about earlier, are developmentally normal for children. If you think about it, children's brains aren't fully developed yet. They don't fully develop until you're around the age of 25. So, a little kid, they're not going to have the same, what we call executive function or frontal lobe development that we have as an adult. And so it can be, something that seems really silly to us or seems like a little deal to us, can be really meaningful and big and huge to them. And so I think sometimes it's helpful just to remind myself, like, okay, like their brain's not there yet, and that's okay.
Right, like I might feel this upset if I XYZ, and this thing is as big to them as this whatever big thing is for me. So having some compassion within yourself for your kiddo with how big this feels, and just recognizing that you're feeling those things too at times, and identifying with them can help just kind of give you the space to regulate and be mindful and breathe and help them through really difficult tantrums. Thank you for being here today. If you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you soon.
Bye.